Landing Cincere Johnson would be a massive statement for Ohio State's 2026 class.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in, Buckeye fans, to your Feel Good Friday edition of Locked On Buckeyes, which is your daily Ohio State podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, veteran sports talk host, delivering passionate coverage about your Buckeyes. And during today's show, we will discuss a linebacker in the class of 2027 that shined in front of James Lauranitis, as well as the players taking official visits to Ohio State this weekend. But first, there's a guy that plays at Glenville High School that is sought after by Ohio State, Alabama, and Penn State. Now, there are other schools that are trying to lure him to their campus as well, but those are the three front runners right now. You can even say that just an Ohio State and Alabama battle. And Cincere Johnson is a talented linebacker. You can watch him play football, and you can tell that young man has a chance to be special at the next level. Well, Ohio State is hosting him this week on an official visit, and getting him on campus is huge. But you must turn up the intensity. Do everything you can within your power to land this young man, because landing him at Ohio State this weekend, or just in this cycle in general, would be a massive win and a big statement for Ohio State. Because if you land this young man right now, knowing Bama and Penn State are trying to get him to their campuses, you're going to show everybody once again that you ain't messing around. Ohio State is pretty stingy when it comes to handing out offers, and it's even stingier when it comes to handing out official visits, where some schools will spend the extra money to bring guys in, to entertain them, and to see, hey, maybe this guy, we weren't as high on him earlier, but we get a lot higher on him when he comes on an official visit. Ohio State and Ryan Day are very, very picky, and it's a good thing. I love how picky they are, because they can be. They're not a school that needs to go out there and hand out official visits like Oprah hands out cars, or Oprah hands out vacations, things of that nature. No, they just won the national championship. Ryan Day has one of the best programs in the country. Ryan Day is a coach that you could expect a table in regular season, and you could expect a playoff appearance, and you can almost pencil him in most years that he's going to win at least one playoff game, maybe two. And when you have that said about you, and when you rank the coaches in college football, Ryan Day is going to be at worst 5. And I'm being very, very nice right now. I think most people would say Ryan Day at worst is a top 3 coach in the sport. Most would say 2. If you put him at 3, I don't know who you could put at 2. It's aside from Dabo, which over the past few years, I think it's a clear argument that Ryan Day's a better coach, currently a better coach than Dabo Swinney. But that'd be it. If you put him at 4 or 5, I don't want to question you and figure out why you made that decision. If you want to say the Michigan thing, okay, that's a dumb argument. If you want to say, well, there's another thing that happens, okay, still another dumb argument. People have those. But there's really no dumb argument when it comes to the way Ryan Day goes about handing out official visits. And I think Cincere Johnson with the Glenville pipeline and Ted Ginn Sr. being very instrumental in making sure that pipeline remains open, or that it's back open and that it remains open. I think Cincere Johnson's that kind of guy that you want at Ohio State, especially being coached by James Lauranitis. And if you have not watched this young man play football, he's a 4-star recruit out of Glenville in Ohio. The number 71st ranked recruit. There you go. Via 24/7 Sports composite rankings, the number 2 player in the state of Ohio. This young man is explosive. It starts off at the snap of the ball, even before that, when he can allow his instincts to allow him to take the correct first step every single play. But once he takes that correct first step and his instincts take over, his explosive playing style jumps off the screen. And he's going to feel you when he gets there to you. No matter if he's running on the sideline or getting back into the backfield very quickly, you're going to feel that young man when he hits you. And I get the Bama and Ohio State thing. Those are the 2 schools, and that's going to be something we got that a lot under Nick Saban. That's going to continue under Kalen DeBoer as he's leading the Crimson Tide. My gut tells me he's going to go to Ohio State. And it's not just because it's the in-state school. It's because of the track record of being a school that has some of the better linebackers in the country. That's not the same thing. That's not the norm under Ryan Day's leadership. But I think over the next few years, Ohio State's linebackers are going to be able to turn back the clock to playing like linebackers at Ohio State, how they used to. Eichenberg, really good. Great college linebacker. Cody Simon, great college linebacker. I think over the next few years, you want to get linebacker play that is better than what those guys did in their final couple of years in Columbus, Ohio. I love what Cincere Johnson brings to the table, but also Jamir Perez. We mentioned him earlier this week, four-star D tackle who's also from Glenville, who's currently a Florida commit, stands about 6'3". 24/7 Sports has him at 300 and stands about 6'4", has him at 360 pounds. Jamir Perez's Twitter account has him listed at 330 pounds. So I would lean more somewhere in the middle, maybe not 360, maybe not 330, might be 335, 340. It might be where he stands. But this young man, like I mentioned earlier this week, he is a guy that is your nose tackle, nose guard, whatever you want to put for the title of the guy that's head up over the center, that's Jamir Perez. And I think moving forward, you're going to see Ryan Day move more to a hybrid defense, a 4-2-5. Yeah, it's a little bit of a hybrid, but I mean more hybrid outside linebacker edge guy, an edge rusher that is more of an outside back with a 3-4 set, but you still may see more of your traditional 4-2-5 look. And if I'm an opposing quarterback or offensive coordinator, that might confuse me. Because if you look out there and you see, oh, that guy is standing up, but it's a 4-2-5 look, you may think, oh, he's your traditional defensive end at Ohio State, not realizing he's quicker, he's faster, he's more flexible, he's bendier around the edge. He has so many traits that opposing offensive coordinators don't want a guy on the edge to have. And Jamir Perez, to me, is another guy. Put the pressure on. Now, don't pressure him into making a decision, but put the pressure on. He has accepted the offer to come in on an official visit. You could extend that offer for an official visit, and a player may say, no, I'm not going to your school. We see players all around the country that even have scheduled official visits, and they cancel them because they say, oh, I'm not going there. I just got done with an official visit. I'm not taking any more. I'm going to make my decision very, very soon. And while Jamir Perez is currently committed to Florida, y'all, it wouldn't shock me if this weekend, either today or Sunday or Monday, that these two guys, Cincere Johnson and Jamir Perez, commit to Ohio State. It would be a massive boost for Ohio State's recruiting class that currently has 15 guys verbally committed. A few of them, maybe 6 guys total. That number may not be exact that are from the state of Ohio. If you can get 2 more this weekend on a big-time official visit weekend to commit to Ohio State, man, we knew this month was going to be big. It got off to a slower start than some would have liked. Some may have said, oh, I'm going to scratch my head and wonder if what's going on is the right thing. Patience is a virtue. Trust me. I have times when I'm very patient, but buddy, ask my wife. There are also times where I am not the most patient person. Patience is a virtue. Ryan Day ain't rushing for nothing. These coaches ain't rushing. What are they doing? Moving at their own pace. It's not slow and methodical, and it's not Usain Bolt running the 100-meter dash in the Olympics, but it's their pace. It's calculated. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. In Day we trust when it comes to the recruiting and making sure that Ryan Day does what's needed to land the right guys in this cycle so Ohio State can not only be a contender to win the national championship, but they also put fear in the eyes of other teams, and they realize how much elite talent Ohio State stockpiled in the 2026 recruiting class. Speaking of stockpiling talent in the 26 class, the Buckeyes are hosting a lot of guys this weekend on official visits, and they're hosting them because they have a chance to be elite, and they believe that they could be Buckeyes in the future. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. It's your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery. Now, I budget smarter and save more. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. Thank you all for tapping in Locked On Buckeyes and making this show your first listen of the day. Ohio State's done a great job this year during official visits and during recruiting camps of evaluating players and making sure that the offers are going out to the guys they need to go out to. And if you need to be a little bit stingy, you can do that thing. And this weekend, I think the first weekend Ohio State had official visits, the Buckeyes are hosting a lot of players. 12 players will be coming to Ohio State today to begin their official visits. The list is full of a lot of heavy guys. 4 D linemen, 4 offensive linemen, 2 linebackers, 1 corner, and 1 guy who is being recruited as an athlete. We'll go through all of them really quickly. The stars next to their name and their name, position, and where they're from. So you know who is coming to Ohio State. And it's all geared towards putting the right guys in this class where they need to be. Talented players, players that are elite at the high school level, players that have special traits. Some guys are going to be developmental guys, but the truth is and the belief is once they get on campus, maybe in year 2, maybe in year 3 or 4, they will be really good players down the road. In this group of guys, I like what I see. I love that there's an emphasis on the trenches because as we know, Ohio State's offensive line, where there was a question about if they're being developed like they needed to be, they were. And I think on that side of things, on the O-line, Tyler Boyd's going to bring in at least 5 guys. Hopefully get one of the top left tackles. Felix Ojo would be great in the class. But then also on the defensive line, they need at minimum 4 D tackles and really 5 or 6, 5 at minimum D linemen and get 6 guys total. That'd be great. And you can do that once again and start ramping up the recruitment. Here are the guys that are coming in on campus this weekend to take an official visit to Ohio State. Some of them are also already committed to Ohio State. I will go over that when I read that player's name. Pierre Dean, a D lineman from North Carolina, a 4-star kid. Akeem Akboko, interior O lineman, 4-star kid from North Carolina. Cincere Johnson, linebacker, 4-star kid from Glenville, right there in Cleveland. Sam Greer from Akron, Ohio, offensive tackle, 4-star, who's already verbally committed. Another kid, athlete, who's coming to Ohio State this weekend, offensive tackle, 4-star offensive tackle, Maxwell Riley from Avon Lake, Ohio. Ernest Rankins from Decatur, Georgia, D lineman at 6'6", 285, a 4-star kid. That's one guy that the beef, the size, the length, the wingspan, also be down there from the South. If Ohio State and Ryan Day can lure that man away from Kirby Smart, that's a massive win. Danny Odom, 4-star corner from Orlando, Florida. CJ Santa from Lewis Center, Ohio, probably committed 3-star linebacker. 4-star 4-star athlete, Jackson Ford from Malvern, Pennsylvania. And then a couple more. This list is a little bit, I'm thinking like, oh, we're done. No, we're not there yet. Keyshawn Eliezer, 3-star edge from North Carolina. Tucker Smith, 3-star offensive lineman from Glendale, Arizona, who's also verbally committed. Last but not least, mentioned him early in the first segment, Jamir Perez, 3-star D lineman from Cleveland, Ohio, right there at Glenville as well. He is the one that's verbally committed to Florida. Not sure how my words are not flowing like normal today. Let's hope over the next rest of the show things start to get back on track. But this is a great group, guys. This right here is what you want. Bring in guys that you want to flip, Jamir Perez, with some guys that are already verbally committed, with a guy that's at Perez's high school in Cincere Johnson to try to peer recruit, but also allow Ohio State to bounce things off each other. Now, if I'm an offensive lineman or defensive lineman, I'm looking around saying, you're bringing in 3 other guys in my position? Now, granted, some of them are edges and some of them are D tackles and some of them are interior O linemen. Some are already tackles. Some of them are already committed. Some aren't. So, there is a back and forth in context to everything. But You look around, you're a 4-star kid. The other 3 guys at your position, they're 4-star athletes. Why would they do that? Because they want you to look around and realize you're not just going to be coming to Ohio State to compete with the guys that are already there. The guy you're on an official visit with, you might be coming in to compete with him. Nothing wrong with that. I love it. But I think, once again, Ohio State did it earlier this year, I believe in the first weekend of official visits. They're also doing it now, putting in emphasis on the trenches. And I know it's a saying that may be overstated by some people, but I don't know if you can really overstate the fact that the games are won and lost in the trenches. There is a stat about the team that leads the rushing battle in the game against Michigan. I don't know how many years back it's been, but the team that wins the rushing battle wins the game. You may want to say, Jay, like, is that really true? Is it really something where if you win the battle in the trenches on the O-line and D-line, you're probably going to win the game? Absolutely. Now, there are the one-off or rare times where things are very even, or you win it and the ball doesn't bounce your way at the end of the day, you end up losing. That is true. But in all actuality, what we're finding right now is that the Buckeyes are getting it right. It's one thing for me to come on a show and say, well, Ohio State needs 5 O linemen, or they need 6 D linemen, and they need to put an emphasis and get 4 D tackles. It's one thing for me to say it. While what I say is true, when I believe everything I'm saying on the show, it's another thing for Ohio State to put action into what needs to happen. It's very similar to an athletes around the country that, hey, I'm going to take it down to a top 10. I'm going to take it down to a top 7. About a month later, I'm going to take it down to a top 4. Okay, cool. Where are you taking visits to? Unofficial visits or official visits? Where are you putting your energy and your time and your efforts? Because that's going to tell me where you're probably going to play football. If you are going to whittle it down to a top 4, but then all of a sudden you only visit 3 of the 4 schools, and all of a sudden you take a 4th visit to a school that's not in your top 4, and that's a school you end up going to, people are going to say, well, why'd you take them out of your top 4? Because at the time when I put that graphic out, they weren't in my top 4. And all of a sudden, I got the ability and the option to take an official visit to said school. And the next thing you know, I probably should have tweaked my top 4 because that's where I went. I want to know, where are you putting your energy? Where are you taking time out of your busy schedules to go? It's very similar to Brady Edmonds. The kid's going into his junior year of high school. Talented quarterback. Really talented quarterback. And he came to Ohio State for 3 days of camp, got better, worked with Ohio State coaches, but also took time on his time away from home to go to Children's Hospital to donate his time and books to the kids. Now, it's one thing to just sit up here and say, yeah, man, I'm checking this thing off this box, and man, I got this checklist here for this summer. One of them is try to make an impact at the community in Columbus, Ohio, man. That's what I want to do. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm trying to check this box, man. Cool. You can make an impact in Columbus by not going to a hospital. Or if you go to a hospital, by not donating things. It's very easy to do that. All you do is walk around. Okay, see some trash, pick that stuff up. Spend 30 minutes to an hour of your day picking up trash in a downtown area. Cool. What are you doing? Helping make a mark in the city. The city you're going to play college football in. But for Brady Edmonds, he said, oh, no. I'm not going to pick up trash, or I'm not going to go do something else. No, I'm going to do something very, very meaningful. Something that's unorthodox or out of the box thinking. Going to a children's hospital to donate toys. I love what he's doing. I love the mindset. But I also love that Brady Edmonds has the ability to peer recruit. That's what he wants to do. He wants to come to Ohio State to get better, be a phenomenal quarterback. But he also wants to peer recruit to bring in other guys in the 27 cycle to help Ohio State build the future the right way. Thank you all for tapping and Locked on Buckeyes and making this show your first listen of the day. Before we go any further, I want to say happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. This is your weekend. I say weekend, yes, this is your day. On Sunday, it's Father's Day. And as many of you see right now watching the YouTube, my wife got me this dope hat. It's a picture of my son and I at his first trip to a local park. He had never been to a park before, and so we have a play set and a swing in our own backyard, but we wanted to do something a little bit different. Took him to a park, got him on a swing there, around of a bunch of kids, and he's like, "What's going on? I never know. I don't know none of these people. People keep looking at me and smiling at me, and he's smiling back. He's drooling at them, or they smile at him, and now he's able to wave at people. And so my son's special. The first Father's Day since my son has been born, and this dope hat. Like, I don't wear half my hats on this show. I might start wearing more of them, but this one, it's going to be in rotation because this one is special. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Hope you enjoy your day and your time. With the spotlights on you. If you want to sit back on the couch and watch some football, I believe UFL Championship is Saturday or Sunday. If it's not Sunday, okay, watch a rerun of Ohio State winning the national championship. I'm sure your wife or the mother of your children will understand that. Eat some good food, spend time with the family, and enjoy your day. One young man that enjoyed his day is Cooper Whitten. Yes, Cooper Whitten, the son of Jason Witten, the longtime, the NFL legend tight end. He used to play for the Dallas Cowboys, had a hot second calling games there for the ESPN. This young man was in Columbus camping this week, and I love the fact that these youngsters take time to come to Ohio State to camp and be coached up by Ohio State's coaches. And that's the one thing if you're from Ohio or if you're from the Midwest and Indiana or Michigan or Pennsylvania or Kentucky or Tennessee. Like, it's one thing to be from one of those states and to come to Ohio State to be around Ryan Day and to be around James Lauranitis and be around Billy Fessler and others. It's different when you're from Texas. Now, for Cooper Whitten's sake, he was born into a very fortunate situation. Dad eventually was playing in the NFL. Dad made millions of dollars. Dad is not hurting financially by any means, any stretch of the imagination. So Cooper Whitten's born into a very fortunate situation. Good for him. Not mad about that at all. But when he's born into that situation, some guys might say, "Oh, you play like you were born with a silver spoon." I don't think he does. I mean, the kid is the number one linebacker in the entire country via 24/7 Sports composite rankings, the 17th ranked recruit in the country, the fourth best player in the state of Texas. This young man can ball, and he got James Lauranitis' eyes. He was very impressive. Him and his dad have already made comments about how Ohio State is different than the other schools around the country, even the big boy schools. I'll say it again: Bama, USC, Texas, Oklahoma, those type schools, Georgia, Clemson, those kind of schools. Yes, Ohio State's different than them in the best way. Well, Cooper Whitten recently said that Ohio State's definitely in his top 5. And I think that speaks volumes because that's just going and leaning into something that I already had a good feeling about, but knowing that's out there now, that's also big too, is that Ohio State made a big impression on him and his dad in the spring, during spring practice. And so making that impression early is huge. But allowing that and having that same thought be strengthened right here in the summer, baby, that's what you want. You want Ohio State to continue to fuel and to feed the desire of the athlete to come back to Ohio State, especially the high-end elite ones. Here's what Cooper Whitten had to say after the recruiting camp at Ohio State just a day ago. Quote, "I learned a lot today. James Lauranitis is a great coach. He's played the position at a high level in the NFL, so he taught me a lot over the course of this camp. A lot of good points to bring back to my high school," end quote. That's one thing I think a lot of people gloss over when it comes to James Lauranitis. A lot of us do, go back to his playing days at Ohio State. Three-time consensus All-American, played in back-to-back national championship games. Unfortunately, it was a loss to Florida. That was a really lopsided game. And a loss to LSU. And so sometimes it gets glossed over that James Lauranitis was a really good NFL linebacker. Really good. And the fact that this young man brought up his time in the NFL and not his time in college, maybe it's because his dad was in the NFL. Maybe that's the case. But even if it's not, it's great that you know the history of the guy that may be your coach. That you're not just going in and being really talented and trying to work out and trying to get better. but you're already doing your own homework. And moving forward, I believe those are the kind of guys that Ohio State and Ryan Day want. Guys that are a little bit different. Guys that aren't the same players like other guys that are just 5-star kids that, oh, I'm going to be coming in and I'm going to try to get some money and I'm going to try to focus on myself. No. Guys that are a little bit different than the rest. James Lauranitis in the NFL did play from 2009 until 2016. That's a pretty lengthy career, if you ask me. Played for the Rams and the Saints 1 year in New Orleans. Only played 5 games that year in his final year in the NFL. Started 3 of those games. But this guy was a dog. I mean, multiple years of 100-plus tackles. I mean, every year in St. Louis, you could pencil him in for 109 or more tackles. They had a back-to-back years in 2011 and 2012 where he had 142 tackles. He didn't miss a game. Didn't miss a regular season game until his final year there in 2016 with the New Orleans Saints. This dude is amazing, not just in college, but also in the NFL. And when Cooper Whitten says that, I'm thinking in my head, sir, you get it. You have something special about you, and it's not just who your father is. There are a lot of guys out there. I remember when I was in high school, I don't know if I told this story before. Sophomore year or junior year, I don't believe it was senior year, but Coach Feasel, Tim Feasel, man, that was a fun coach. My favorite coach to play for. He's also the toughest coach on me, which may be why I enjoy playing for him the most. But maybe it was senior year. We were talking, and he was talking about talking to the linemen, but this was at the end of practice, and they had the hog meeting. You go down to the 6-yard line, whatever end zone the coach pointed to, and you get down. Lineman, D lineman, tight ends all go there to that meeting. I'll kind of end of the practice, kind of regroup. Here's what you did right. Here's what we can improve on, and let's get better tomorrow. Well, Coach Feasel was hyping up a certain player, Drew Horman. Started off his high school career playing quarterback, transitioned to tight end his senior year to allow for the offense to be more versatile because we didn't really have a tight end that year that was good enough to play. So Drew decided, hey, I'm not going to be quarterback. I'll go play tight end. Drew also played safety our senior year too. Something nobody expected from him when I met him in middle school. But Coach Feasel talked about how Drew Horman had it. And at the time, I understood what he was talking about, but I'm thinking, man, he ain't the only cat on the team that has it, which he wasn't. I could talk about some guys that had it. But he said, man, Drew has it. Something you can't really describe, but you know when you see it. Or when someone describes a certain player, oh, okay, you know that player has it, or if they don't. Kind of the intangibles, kind of being a coach on the field, kind of having their mind right, staying even keel. I mean, there's so many things that stay ahead of the game. When a player has it, you just know it. It's very hard to describe it. As I'm trying to do it right now, I realize I'm not doing it justice because it's one of those things in sports. You can just tell if a guy has it or if he doesn't. I mean, okay, here's one that's very easy. LeBron James has it. Okay. Leading scorer, all-time leading scorer in the NBA. And you want to go down to be one of the top 5, top 4 players by some people in the history of the sport. So, yeah, I mean, LeBron James has it. Caitlin Clark has it. Who else has it? Kobe Bryant. Who else? There are other players out there that have it. Now, it's not always just the star of the team that has it. There are some guys that are role players that may not be as talented as others, but they just get it, man. They get their role. They go what they need to do. Some might say they're a coach's son, even though they're not, but they play like one. Some players get it. And the more I watch and read about and hear about Cooper Whitten, I believe he has it, which is a big reason why James Lauranitis is already pouring into him so that in the future, Ohio State lands Cooper Whitten, the number 1 linebacker in the class of 2027, and the Buckeyes develop him down the road into being an elite linebacker in college football. Thank y'all for tapping into Locked on Buckeyes and making this show your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the Portal Show because my guy, Brian Smith, he's got the latest rumors. He's got the portal entries and signings, and it'll help you be the most informed fan on the rapid changes to this great sport we call college football. find the portal and Locked On Buckeyes on the YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can follow me on any social media platform at jstevens07. Send every email to jstevens317@gmail.com. This has been Locked On Buckeyes right here on a Friday. We'll see you next time.